And we're live. It's Monday. What a great day. I hope everybody is having a good one. I just wanted to talk about something that happened today. I was shopping and I went into a store that I had to pick up a few things. I maintained my 6 feet distance, and this woman was in so much fear. She had a mask on. I did not. And I don't wear a mask when I'm out shopping. And I don't do a lot of shopping, but I always maintain, at the very minimum, 6 or 8 feet. So she saw me and she lost it. I mean, she lost it. She scrambled to the other side of the counter, said something under her breath, which I couldn't hear because, again, I was at least probably 8 or 9 feet away. And she was just in so much fear. And I just stood there and I just prayed for her. I was like, wow, this lady is really, really scared. So the other day I posted the acronym for fear, forgetting everything's all right. And what happened shortly, like within 2 minutes of that, is a gentleman came in the outdoor, which so naturally he was near the registers, and walked near her. And he had a mask on. He was perfectly legal, so to speak, I guess you're going to call it. And she lost it because he was near her. So the lady at the register, asked him to just go ahead through the other side and come around if he had a question. And he's like, okay. So he does. And this lady continued to act like, I don't know, like somebody was going to kill her, I guess. She was so afraid. And then as she was finishing checking out, she said loud enough for me to hear this time, because she was mad at the guy who walked up to ask the cashier something, and she was mad at the guy who was behind me in line, who did have a mask on as well, because I'm not sure why. She was looking at him too, and she said something to the effect of, wow, people are just such assholes. And I just thought, I'm not letting that go by. I'm going to say something. And I just basically said that, you know what? There's lots of reasons for people not to wear a mask, and nobody here is an asshole, no matter what you think. So you need to stop talking like that in public about other people that you know nothing about. And she just looked at me like she didn't even know what to say. And so she just scrambled out of there, grabbed her stuff, and scrambled out of there. And I told the cashier, I said, I'm sorry you had to deal with that. She goes, yeah. She goes, usually I don't get sworn at or have people swearing. And I said, I'm really sorry you had to deal with that. She's clearly in a lot of fear. I'm just going to send her prayers that she is okay. I guess that's the right way to say it. So we finished up, and even the guy behind me, he said, wow, that was really crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I think people are just afraid. And there's not enough information for them to glean from whatever news they're getting to understand, kind of where this virus is, and where the whole thing about masks are, and how people, can move forward and live again without being full of fear of being next to somebody again. And so, anyways, let's send that woman some love. and know that, there are people out there that are very, very afraid. They won't leave their house. And if you're one of the vulnerable population and you feel that this is not a safe place for you to go to a store or a grocery store or whatever, we support, I do anyway, support, your decision to, find other ways to get your needs met. And I hope that you do, and I hope you don't feel bad about it. Nobody should live in that much fear. I mean, this lady really was visibly upset and scared. and what have you. So even though she knew, you know, I guess, maybe she doesn't know what the law is. I don't know. It's not really a law, it's a mandate. Um, but she was quite upset. And I just want to send her love and know that she is in a lot of pain. She was definitely triggered. And one of the things I've learned in life is when something triggers you, you need to work through it. You can't just push it aside or stuff it back down or put it away, so to speak. Hey, Tim, long time no talk, man. So I think that's super important for people to recognize that if something really triggers you or you have that kind of reaction to it, I always have a saying, when they anger you, they own you. and and it's so true, because there is your part and there's their part, but you have to figure out how to get past whatever it is that's triggering you or angering you. And there are ways of doing it. It's called recovery. It's called self-discovery. It's called self-help work. It's called a lot of different names. But ultimately what it is getting down deep inside and knowing that, you know, you're going to be okay, like no matter what. There's ways of getting through some of those difficult, what would you call them? Situations that might trigger you. And there's ways of working through those kinds of things. You don't have to live like that, and you don't have to suffer. And I think that's pretty much my message about fear, is you don't have to suffer, because you can work on those things and allow yourself to dig deep inside. Your answers are within you. And for some people, they don't want to see, and that's okay too. But they don't need to suffer if they're willing to do the work that needs to be done. There's plenty of books out there and places online that you can listen to. You can start with Eckhart Tolle. He's awesome about being present to yourself and working on your own stuff. There's a lot of people, a lot of the Louise Hay things, Dr. Dyer. You know that you can Google it, I'm sure. There's so many wonderful things that are helpful in terms of that kind of thing, that I implore you to do some research. If you're still getting triggered or you're feeling anger about things, you don't have to. You really, really don't have to. So for me, there are still things that come up once in a while, and then I have to work through them. So as I do those things, you know, it's just another peeling of the onion, so to speak. And you cry a little bit, and then you move forward, so that you're not living in either a fearful state or walking on eggshells all the time, or feeling as though the world is out to get you. You know, you are not a victim. You are actually choosing everything that comes into your life as a situation arises, and then allowing yourself to do the work to work through those situations, so that you can be happy, healthy, and free, and joyous. And that's what, you know, God intended. God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free, and to live a full, abundant life in all areas of your life. So that's, for me anyways, my goal is always to be in that place as much as I can. So when that happened today, I was like, wow, there's people really hurting out there. And I pray for them. You know, I pray for them all that are hurt. And there's a lot of worse things than COVID. You know, there is a lot of worse things than COVID. And it is not as deadly as they say it was in the beginning. They thought 2 million people were going to die. Well, we're not even close to that. What, 200%, 20%, 10% of that number? Or maybe less at this point. And then you hear stories, and who knows whether they're true or not, you know, that some of those were actually just influenza, normal pneumonia, or some other reason, but they all got tagged as COVID deaths. So there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of contradictory information out there. So, maybe 2 or 3 years from now, we'll actually know what actually happened here. I don't think it's evident at this moment. And I think it's difficult for people to kind of sift through the massive amount of information that gets thrown at them every day, just to figure out, like, where do I stand here, and how do I proceed in life, and how do I move forward and be okay with where I am. And I think that's always key, is being okay in the midst of chaos, being okay in the midst of turmoil, being okay in the midst of a pandemic, being okay in the midst of any kind of a crisis. Is my goal, is to still be okay. And I do feel okay. I do care about what happens, and I do care greatly, actually. I think it's difficult to see when people are struggling like that, but I also know I can't fix somebody else's problem. They have to be invested enough to fix their problem, and some people just won't and don't want to, or can't. They don't know how. They don't even know how to access the tools. So if you can be that beacon of light somehow, by standing in your truth and being present, and stating what's good for you and how things work for you, maybe somebody else will be motivated or feel compelled to look into some options for themselves if they're still suffering. So that's my thought of the day. And I have a holistic community professionals meeting on Zoom tonight. I'm looking forward to that. It's hard to connect with people when you're not in person. I certainly don't prefer it. And it's just how it is at the moment. Even in the holistic community, there's a lot of other information out there that lots of people are willing to share, which is great. And so I look forward to the shares that are going to be coming out of tonight's group meeting online. So just wanted to say love you guys, and I hope you're well, and I hope you stay well, and I hope you don't live in fear, and you can get through your day with a lot of joy and happiness, hopefully, as well. There's so many things to be grateful for on our planet and in this world, and certainly in the United States where we live. We have so many freedoms. We have a lot of things that other people don't have. Most of us have a roof over our head and food in our belly when we need it, and a vehicle to get around, and the ability to do the things that make life worth living. So I hope I send you all that abundance and wish that wellness for you also. And I hope you have a great evening. I will end my talk with my usual, the sun is always shining. And I know nobody sees it right here, right now, because we're here in Connecticut and it's getting dark and it's late in the afternoon and I'm outside. So it's been a wonderful day, though. The sun was shining most of the day if you were here in Connecticut. And but the sun is always shining, and it reminds me of universal love and infinite intelligence is always around us. It's always with us, just like the sun is always on. There isn't a time when the sun isn't on. It's always there, and it's always warming the earth. And the other night I was explaining to my grandkids how the sun is reflected off the moon. That's why they can see the moon, and they just found that fascinating. So, little kids, you can see the world through their eyes. It's just wonderful, But yeah, the sun is always shining, guys, and I hope you feel that power. And I wish you a very wonderful evening. Love you all, and oh, hi, Wesley. And I will see you guys later. Have a good night. Bye for now.